Happy March Madness, everybody. Today, we finally get the playing games of the 2024 March Madness tournament. We get them tomorrow as well, and then Thursday and Friday are some of the best days of basketball in the whole year. 16 games Thursday, 16 games Friday, 8 Saturday, 8 Sunday. It's probably the best four stretch you can get. And maybe you haven't followed some of these prospects for the 2024 draft as much this year, and you've probably been hearing a lot about the G League prospects and the international guys. So for today's video, I wanted to rank the top 30 prospects for the 2024 NBA draft that are going to be appearing on your TV screen for March Madness. So obviously guys like Isaiah Collier, Devin Carter, Providence, Keyshawn George of Miami obviously will not be mentioned since they didn't make the March Madness tournament. So if you guys do enjoy the draft content, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my rankings down below. And let me know, maybe I forgot to mention somebody that's playing at maybe McNeese State or Western Kentucky that could be in the 2024 NBA draft. So we're going to start things off with my number one college player right now, and that is Rob Dillingham of Kentucky. You guys know me, I've been loving Rob Dillingham all college season. I feel like it was a little bit earlier on the Rob Dillingham train and I haven't hopped off at all. I still have tons of real estate on Dillingham Island. He's one of the best scorers in all of college basketball. Some people will say, though, his size and frame could be tough to translate to the next level as he's 6'2", 170 as a guard. Smaller guard, could have some weaknesses on the defensive side of the ball. At worst, he's going to be such an elite shooter at the next level. He's shooting 45% from three this year for the Wildcats. And he's a solid free throw shooter as well. So I believe that jumper will translate to the NBA level. And I'm so excited to watch Dillingham on my League Pass screen next year. Here we go. We got shades of like 2012 Kentucky. We got Reed Sheppard coming in at number 2. Maybe not as highly touted prospects as Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, but I do believe Kentucky is the two best college prospects in this draft. You want to talk about efficiency? Reed Sheppard is as efficient as you can get. He's shooting 54% from the field this year, 53% from three, 83% from the line. He can pass, he can rebound, he can run the floor, he can spot up. This dude is almost good at every aspect of basketball. Reminds me a little bit of Tyrese Halliburton at Iowa State. Maybe not as good as a lead ball handler, but could be a beautiful connector piece at the next level if he's drafted into the right environment. Coming in at number 3, we have Cody Williams, and his Colorado Buffaloes are playing for a 10th spot play-in game against Boise State. And Cody Williams was kind of like the number 1 college prospect all year long because of the 6'8" frame, the high upside potential as a ball handling wing, and he's been inconsistent this year. He's averaging 12 points, 3 rebounds. The efficiency is good on paper, 56% from the field and 41% from three, but if you dive into it a little bit more, he's only taking 1.8 threes a night, definitely more hesitant with his outside shooting, which is a shame because, hey, I'd rather Cody Williams shoot 37% from three, but he's taking 4 attempts a night. The free throw shooting isn't great either, 72%. He wasn't a great shooter in high school either. And there's definitely some ball handling issues right now with his game at Colorado, and he's like the 3rd best player on the team, but the potential is there. The upside is there, especially as a defender as well. So he's still coming in my top 3. If you want to talk about inconsistent play, Jacobe Walter coming in at number 4. Man, if Walter had like a really good Big 12 tournament run, and hey, even if he has a good March Madness tournament run, he could definitely jump into the top 3. I've still held on to my Jacobe Walter stock, but it's not been great as of late, so he's definitely falling right now. Walter's shooting 37% from the field, 34% from three. There's just potential there as a 3-level scorer because he is a good free throw shooter. I think he's going to be a fine outside shooter at the NBA level. He's a good ball handler. At times, though, it feels like he could get flustered late in the game in crunch time. The defensive potential is definitely there as well, so maybe at worst, he's just going to be a 3-and-D player, but I feel like that's what this draft is going to be. A lot of guys that could be really good role players, but maybe never like all-NBA guys, and that's what I think Jacobe Walter could be, but I do think he has maybe higher potential to reach that all-NBA status than maybe my 1 and 2 guys in Dillingham and Sheppard, but definitely not as safe. Now, you want to talk about safe prospects. Coming in here at number 5, we got Donovan Clingan, the big man at a Yukon. You know what you're going to get from Clingan. Somebody that's going to be a great screen setter, a great pick-and-roll partner for any point guard in this league. Someone that's 7'2", 260 pounds. This dude is a beast out there, but he moves quickly for his size, much quicker than somebody like Zach Edey. Incredible shot blocker, really good rebounder, obviously playing in a perfect situation with the Yukon Huskies right now, but I think as long as he's playing under the right head coach and with a good point guard partner, he's going to be just fine at the NBA level, so he's coming in at number 5. And we got his Yukon partner coming in at number 6, Stephon Castle. I'm a little bit lower on Castle right now compared to some of these other prospects, but for Castle, you really have to look at the long-term play play here. I don't think he's going to be good right away. I'm a little bit worried about that outside shot at the next level, is it's been spotty this year for the Huskies. Same with the free throw shooting, but he's a fantastic driver. He can cut hard. Well, like Klingon, he's playing in a perfect system. Like if he ends up in like Detroit or Washington, it's going to be a little bit scary for him. But the size, the frame, the defensive upside, he'll be fine long term in my opinion. Coming in at number 7, we have everybody's favorite player, Kyle Filipowski. I'm just kidding there. Obviously, he's been not a Duke villain this year as much as like a Grayson Allen or JJ Redick in the past, but that whole court storming thing definitely did not help out his public image. But Filipowski is as good of a big man as you can get in this draft. Someone that's averaging 17 points, 8 rebounds this year for the Blue Devils, shooting 35% from 3. For someone that's 7 foot tall, 51% from the field. Good shot blocker, good defender as well, can get into the passing lanes. He could have been potentially a lottery pick last year, decided to stay at Duke, and I think definitely helped out his draft stock because there's even a good chance he could go in the top 10 in this draft, depending on who's picking where. You can play him at the 4, you can play him at the 5, and someone that's 7 foot tall that can knock down threes on a consistent basis is going to be super valuable at the NBA level. Now, someone that can knock down shots big time is Dalton Knecht, coming in here at number 8 from the Tennessee Volunteers. The only reason I have Knecht a little bit lower is because he's going to be 23 years old on draft night, so definitely on the older side. He's a 5-year college player. Knecht has been carrying this Tennessee team all the way to a 2 seed this year, winning the SEC regular season. I mean, he's shooting 46% from the field, 39% from 3, averaging 21 points a night. This dude is a straight bucket. He gets to the spots he wants, plays a little bit at a slower pace as well, but has an incredibly high basketball IQ, big time shot making. At worst, he could be a nice offensive spark plug off the bench. Coming in at number 9, we got Jared McCain from the Duke Blue Devils, the second Duke player here in the top 10, joining Kyle Filipowski. Jared McCain, phenomenal shooter, one of the best in this class, shooting 40% from 3 this year, on 5.5 attempts a night, shooting 45.5% from the field. Overall, a good ball handler. Sometimes I worry about McCain's lead shot making. Can he be somebody that can create his own shots, or is he going to be specifically just an off-ball player at the next level? And I think when I'm making these rankings, you pretty much are going to drop everybody around 5 to 10 spots because you got to add in your Ron Hollands, your Bruce Ellis's, your Reese Hachets, Topic, and Alexander Sars. So if McCain falls to a team like Philadelphia or Milwaukee or even Miami, that could be a huge addition to teams trying to win it all in 2025. And at number 10, we have somebody that's playing tonight for the Virginia Cavaliers in a play-in game for the 10th spot, and it's going to be Ryan Dunn. Ryan Dunn has no outside shot right now, so that could be a big red flag at the next NBA level. He's not a good three-point shooter. He's not really the best mid-range shooter either. Somebody that's a good slasher, cutter, can finish inside 100%, but a big knock on him is his outside shooting. Can't hit free throws either. So if he's not going to ever develop anything there, it's going to be tough to see him playing big-time minutes at the NBA level, but something he is known for is his defensive style of play. He was ACC All-Defense this year. It was criminal how he was not even considered for college basketball defensive player of the year. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in this class, still my number 1 perimeter defender in this class. And at worst, you're getting a good slasher, a solid rebounder, and a phenomenal defender if you draft him right outside the lottery. We're gonna have a run on big men's right now. So coming in at number 11, I have Misi of the Baylor Bears, second Baylor player to be mentioned, joining Jacobe Walter. Misi's gonna be your typical screen setter, rim runner, alley-oop catcher. That's a super safe prospect. I would love to see him maybe play for teams that could use some big man insurance, like Philadelphia behind Embiid, or Milwaukee with Brook Lopez getting older. That could be said for pretty much the next 4 guys mentioned. Coming in at number 12, we have one of my favorite big man prospects in this draft, Deron Holmes out of Dayton. This dude was one of the best Atlantic 10 players over the last 3 years. He's an incredibly skilled offensive big man. He's 6'10", 220, but plays a lot more physical than that as well. He's good with the ball in his hands. He's a good outside shooter as well if he can just bring that over to the next level. Good rebounder, solid playmaker. This dude plays hard, high motor as well. I think he should for sure be a top 20 pick. Coming in at number 13, we have Zach Edey, obviously the most polarizing prospect in this draft. Objectively, one of the best players in the country and has been for the last 4 years in college basketball for Purdue. He'll be a senior. He just averaged 24 points and 12 rebounds for the 1-seeded Boilermakers this year. Obviously, the talent level is a completely different beast at the NBA level. Will he be able to translate his current game in Big Ten basketball to NBA level talent? I'm not really sure because he obviously hasn't shown up too much in March with Purdue, mostly having a lot of disappointing exits since his time as a Boilermaker. I don't think he's ever going to be a starting big man at the NBA level, but I think he's safe enough as a prospect to be a solid number 2 center on a roster. At 14, we have somebody that's just flying up draft boards right now, and that's Terrence Shannon from Illinois, who just won the Big Ten tournament. This dude has just been an absolute bucket as of late. Over his last 4 games, he's scored 25 points on 52% shooting, 28 points on 40% shooting. In the Big Ten semifinals, 40 points on 50% shooting. And then in the Big Ten championship, 34 points on 53% shooting. He's been an absolute bucket. He's an older prospect as well. Spent 3 years at Texas Tech. He could have been in the draft class with like LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, and Tyrese Halliburton. That's how long he has been in college basketball. But I think he's playing well enough to be a first-round pick. Somebody I think that should also be a first-round pick is the top draft prospect on Creighton, and that's Trey Alexander. Alexander is a true junior this year, averaging 17.5 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists a night. Three-point shot has dropped a little bit this year, but he's still a career 35% from three guy, and he's a really good free throw shooter as well, so I think that outside jumper will be fine at the NBA level. Coming in at number 16 with the second Colorado Buffalo, but not the last, and that's Tristan Da Silva, who's a high motor, kind of tweener big man. Will he be a 3, 4, or 5 at the NBA level? It really depends on what lineups that coach wants to run. 16 points, 5 rebounds this year. Like I said, hustles a ton up and down the floor. Good outside jumper as well, 38% from 3. Good free throw shooter. He's going to be a nice offensive forward slash big man at the NBA level. One of my favorite prospects in this draft is Tyler Kolek. He's coming in at number 17. He's one of the best passers, facilitators, floor generals. I'm excited to see him now that he's going to be fully healthy for the tournament because he pretty much missed the end of the Big East regular season and the whole Big East tournament with the oblique injury. But he's a good rebounder. He's a really good outside shooter, and he's going to be a perfect backup big man for somebody that wants to use a late first, early second rounder on him. Another fringe first rounder here, and that's going to be Kevin McCullough, who is another 5-year college prospect as well. Spent his first 3 years at Texas Tech and the last 2 at Kansas. Another player that missed some Big 12 tournament play and could miss the start of March Madness, so keep an eye on that due to injuries. He's a good shot creator. He's a good playmaker. The outside shot, though, could be a little bit inconsistent at times, but it looks good enough where you think it could be in play for an NBA team. All right, next up, we have somebody that may declare, may not. He could possibly be a fringe first rounder if he does, and that's the freshman from South Carolina, Colin Murray Boyles. Murray Boyles has definitely came onto the scene a little bit as of late. I didn't know really anything about him in the first half of the college basketball season, but over his last 12 games for the Gamecocks as they played well in the SEC tournament, he's averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists a night, a steal and a half, a block and a half. He's a good defender. He's way too small to be a center though, so I don't know how much I love him as a prospect for somebody that's probably going to be more of a 4, but doesn't have an outside shot whatsoever. I think he should probably stay another year for the Gamecocks. Coming in number 20, we have Oso Ighodaro, the second Marquette player mentioned. Good inside presence, high motor like Tristan Da Silva. No outside shot though, that's why I have him ranked lower than him, but overall a safe prospect as a backup forward. So I mentioned before Kyle Filipowski helped this draft stock by staying another year at Duke. Tyrese Proctor may have hurt it a little bit. The outside shot is still there, 36% from the field, but the overall field goal shooting hasn't been great, so his efficiency on twos hasn't been where you want it to be. The playmaking is also kind of fringe as well. Will he be a 1 or a 2 at the NBA level? I still would use a high second rounder on him. Coming in at number 22, we have our third Kentucky Wildcat, and that's DJ Wagner. I think he should probably stay another year at Kentucky. He's a freshman, a little bit disappointing of a year, but the potential is there if an NBA team wants to invest in him over the long term. Back-to-back Kentucky players mentioned at 23, we have Justin Edwards. I don't even think he would have been a top 40 pick until a couple weeks ago. Over his last 11 games, he's been averaging 10 points, 3 rebounds, shooting 58% from the field, 50% from 3, averaging over a steal a night. Definitely has shown flashes to be a good 3-and-D player at the next level. Another guy coming in here at 24 that I think should stay another year next year, it's going to be Johnny Furphy of the Kansas Jayhawks. With Hunter Dickinson and Kevin McCullough nursing injuries right now, we may see a much larger role for him in March Madness, but I think they're a popular upset team to lose to Samford in the 13-4 matchup. But Furphy could be a good scorer, but definitely is a project play and is a very raw prospect at the moment. Coming in at number 25, we have PJ Hall from Clemson. Hall's been a very skilled offensive big man this year, has a really strong inside offensive presence, good touch around the rim, good pick and roll player. 3-point shot can be kind of inconsistent, but he has a good size, good frame, good motor, plays very hard, plays up a level as well. I'd probably use him in early to mid-second round right now. Coming in number 26, we have the third Colorado Buffalo, and that's KJ Simpson. So like Cody Williams, best guy, highest upside from these 3 going into the draft, but definitely not the first or second best guy right now for the Buffaloes. But KJ Simpson's a good playmaker, good scorer, shoots 45% from 3, 87% from the line. I would definitely take him in the first half of the second round because he could be a good backup point guard at the next level. Coming in at number 27, we have Alex Karaban of the Yukon Huskies, the third Husky mentioned after Castle and Klingon. One of my favorite prospects. I've been very high on Karaban. He's 6'8", one of the best cutters, slashers in the country. He may be the best. He's a perfect player in this Dan Hurley offensive system, so I don't know how valuable he will be outside of that at the NBA level, but the dude is a sharpshooter from 3, shooting 40% from downtown this year. 28, we got our first Arizona Wildcat, but not the last. It's Pele Larson. He can rebound, round, he could pass a little bit, but is really known for his outside jumper. Could be a mid to late second rounder. Coming in number 29, we have Baylor Shireman from Creighton, second guy mentioned right there. Also a fantastic outside shooter as well, and someone that's a really good rebounder for someone that is 6'6". And lastly, we have Keyshawn Johnson coming in here at number 30, playing for Arizona. It's his 5th year in college basketball. He's also a high motor player, can rebound, can also knock down threes as well. You could put a ton of guys here that you think could go late in the second round. You can have Harrison Ingram from UNC. You can have Antonio Reeves from Kentucky, Tristan Newton from Gonzaga, that we will all see in the March Madness tournament. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. Those are 30 prospects that I ranked 1 to 30 that you will be seeing over the next couple of weeks in March Madness play. So keep an eye out on them. If you guys did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate you dropping a thumbs up and let me know what you guys think of this ranking or any prospects that I maybe left out in the comments below. Thank you again to Underdog for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check them out. Link in the description. 100% deposit match up to $100. You really can't beat it. And then all my links are in that description as well. My podcast, my new gaming channel, Madden, MLB, the show rebuild's coming out there now. So make sure you're subscribed. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.